Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of today's Special Minis. I am coming to you with my submission for It's a Link Party Volume 7, hosted by Tamika from Scrap the World. And I'm going to try not to make this video long, but I just want to say right off the bat, I have been a little bit, you know, under the radar because my craft room, after I initially started working on this project, it was fine. I did a little bit every day, and I thought this was going to go super fast. But then we had like a heat wave, and this craft room was super hot, so I couldn't stay back here more than for like a few minutes. I had to stay up in the area of the house that has air conditioning. So that left me, and all my crafting, computer, all of my equipment, everything is in this room. So I couldn't last long enough to watch videos, to make things. So we actually had a break in the weather for like the last couple of days and maybe like the last day or two. So I rushed back in here to like be like, okay, now that the weather's broke, a little bit more forgiving, let me come back here and finish this project for It's a Link. So that's what I did. One project I started maybe on the 20th and had the bulk of it done by maybe like the 22nd. But then that one I pretty much had done. Yeah, probably be by the 26th or 27th. These other two projects that I'm going to show you, so that'll let you know I did 3 boxes. The other two I did just within the last couple of days because the weather was cool. So in this It's a Link, we had to do an embellishment box, and Tamika wanted us to put non-bought items in it. So I'm not even sure which way I want to go with this. I guess I'll just go with the first thing that I started. So this is the first thing. It's called Sea Gems. Now it's not totally finished, but again, like I said, I did what I could in this window of coolness that I have. I was thinking maybe I'll do something else to decorate this, but I'm not sure, as I'm not giving these to anybody. These are just practice. So I did her tutorial, but I did 3 different kinds of styles for the boxes. I did a small, a medium, and a large, and I'll show you the medium last because it's the closest to the requirements that she had for making the box. But it's a versatile box. You can make whatever you want. So this little image I painted, and I love this. So when I told you guys I don't have a color printer and that I have to paint everything, that's exactly literally what I had to do. So just in case you want to know, like, how does that work? So I print out the images, and they only print in black and white because the printer that I have that works right now that has a lot of ink is the black and white printer. So all the images come out in black and white. This is exactly how this image came out. Um, and so that's what I start with, and I look at the image online, and then I try to paint it in the same colors, same ish. So this is an image online, and all of the original images will be linked below. I painted this with blues and reds and pinks and corals, and then I put some dots of glossy accents all over the top, and it gave it this really cool effect. I was actually trying to go for a tile effect, but I like the bubble effect more because it goes along with the theme. So that's really pretty. And then I was going to do the whole thing, but then I just limited to the octopus skin. So the the box is sealed with a bow, and the bow is made out of mesh. Again, this kind of goes along with the theme of, sea, like, netting to catch fish or whatever. So these are the gems that I caught. The box is just a standard, you know, flat rate box that I cut to size. Now this one, I left the netting raw because I like that idea of, a net in the sea, and this is what I made. So this box is clear, and in it are the sea gems. The sea gems are these 3 rocks that I hand painted, and I even made the rocks as well. I'm going to put a little clip at the end of me kind of talking about how these were made. So this is the first of 3, which is the turtle rock, and of course I signed and dated all of them. This is the koi rock. And this is the seahorse rock. So this box had a few challenges. Mainly this lightweight sort of like acetate, which it's like kind of wobbly. So if I were to do this again, I would try to either find some sturdy packaging that has uh, a plastic box this shape, or you would have to get some really, really strong acetate because this one kind of wobbled. Um, but I just taped it down with some double-sided tape. I thought it would be cool to put the gems in a clear box, like you're looking through the ocean. In the back, I made a small ocean shaker with just some iridescent like sequins to mimic like just kind of like sand on the bottom of the ocean. And then I painted some little seagrass and stuff in the back, and a jellyfish back there, which is bioluminescent. It will glow in the dark because I painted it with glow in the dark paint. So that'll probably be a cool effect to see. So yeah, that is the Sea Gems box. And this is the small one. And this is something I would definitely present to someone as a lovely gift. And this is the only box that had handmade things in it. The rest of them will have bought things. So that's how that one was made. I'll show you the large box. This one I had a lot of fun with. This is the large box. Let me move my camera up a little bit so you can see it. Okay, and this box was actually inspired by another person who did the Issa Link challenge. It's Sabrina K. Country Crafter. Her daughter Katie was making a box with her mom, and she said she wanted to have the coolest locker in school because she was going to middle school in the fall, and that gave me this idea. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, this box would be great as a school locker. So I took the tutorial and I just put 2 boxes together to make this. Now, when I say making this kind of stuff, it's dusty. These are just practice prototype things. So if somebody wanted to make this for somebody going to middle school or high school or college, just as a cute accent to have on your desk, it's really cute. It's not totally finished because I didn't, as you can see, it's just cardboard on the back. And let me just jump in and say most of the stuff I make is made with regular cardboard and recycled packaging like this. Okay, this is about as good a heavy cardstock as you'll ever get, and you already paid for it when you bought the product, so you might as well use it. So upcycle it. That's what I use. I like to use regular things. Uh, and I'll be right back because my camera's going to die. Back. So this box right here, you can actually, decorate it any kind of way you want. I just put like little cheerleader tryout poster on it, and the high school letters, put YouTube high school. But as you can see, this can be decorated in somebody's school colors. Like you can do, I just did silver lockers. Initially, I wanted to do blue metal lockers or purple metal lockers, but I was like, no, I'm just going to go with the silver because I have a lot of that and I'm on a time crunch. I did this one probably in like one day because I wanted to get it done before the heat returned. So you can distress it any kind of way you want. Put graffiti, put real posters like, from the person's school, like you can recreate it. You can put a little class schedule on one of the lockers. Any way you want to do it, you can do it. You can finish it off. I just like, I'm letting you see that this is not a finished product. You can magnetize it and close it. So I put the little lock and key. And on this locker, I have all kinds of cool stuff. You got stickers, some embellishments, notepad, stamp set, some more post-it note type things, and some sequins. So if you got a crafty college student or high school student or middle school student and they want to, you know, put this in their locker, you can, or in their dorm room, you can make this for them. It's super cute. And you can put in a couple of supplies. Another thing you can do for somebody that has a school locker or whatever, you can put a few magnets on the back and they can magnetize this and just have it on the back of their locker anywhere. They could just set it on the shelf, but if they don't want to, they can also have it magnetized. Now this one is a magnetic closure. I didn't want to do that on that one because I didn't want to use up all my magnets. So, and this is just a practice, a prototype. So this one has a magnet and it looks like a locker. It's got the little mirror. Again, you can decorate the inside of the locker any way you want. And then, so this is how I did the drawers in this one. I stacked them on top of each other and then I painted each, a different scene on each one. So, take it out and show you. This one's black and white stripes with a little bit of iridescent tape around it. And I just painted this, and all of the references for these front scenes I will put in the description. So I just did 3 different kind of boxes. You can do them all the same, all different. You can do it for female, male, whoever. And in this one I just put a bunch of nail tape strips. So that's that one. This one, I painted this little hello thing. Thought it was cute and kind of girly. And then I put a couple of washi tapes in this. And then this one, I just painted this faux wood background and painted this little apple on there. I don't know. That one's interesting. And here I put some sequin packs and a tiny little punch. So you can fit small things in here. Now, the one thing I'll say about this is I had to trim down the boxes a little bit because even though all of this, before I put the the metallic paper on top of it, everything fit nicely, and before I painted like all the cubbies black, but after that things seemed to have a tight squeeze, so I had to shave the boxes down on the top. So you might have to make a couple of adjustments, but I thought this was super cute. And it closes with a magnet, so that part is not going to fall out. So if you want to do both sides with a magnet, you can. Of course, this side will fall out because I didn't magnetize that one. So that was number 2. And I just thought it was a clever idea. So thank you, Katie, for giving me that idea. A lot of this stuff, it kind of looks complex, but it's super easy. The only thing you need is just like time and patience and preferably a cool room to work in. So there's that one. And I'll come back with my final one. Okay, back with my final design. Today is August 1st. And I did this one yesterday. It was truly a last minute inspiration. And it's this one. So this is my middle size embellishment box. And I don't know, it came to me to do like a little laundry room. What that has to do with crafting, I don't know. But the 3 little cubbies, I don't know. They just kind of look like a washer and dryer and a cabinet. And I thought, well, how can I make that into something cool? and to fit this box. So I came up with this idea. And this one is, I like all three of them, to be honest. They're all gorgeous in my mind. Of course, they don't have to be gorgeous in yours. I think they all came out great as paper and cardboard can be. One of the things I hate about cardboard is it can be kind of tricky to work with, especially with all those squishy cells in between, and they don't always cut right, and you don't always get the look that you're going for. But since all of this is practice, it's all gravy to me. So hope you like that. It took me a long time to decide what color, and I thought, yeah, blue is my favorite color, one of them. I said, yeah, blue washer and dryer would be cute, and I just painted the little button type things on there. Um, and then I said, well, what kind of, you know, cabinet would you have with that? I painted something totally different before, and then I changed my mind, and then I just painted this. And I thought, if it's a laundry room, you want it to be nice and bright, just like your craft room. You want things nice and bright, and that will inspire you to go in there and work. Um, and so I thought these bright, happy kind of colors that are in the same color family would would be cute. And then I put this little sink at the top. It sticks, but there's something on the inside. So the reason I made this, and you can see it's not finished, um, and this is just a piece of acetate over the top. The reason I made this was because I'm always using the back of my hand as a paint palette. As you can, there's paint on my hand now. And I was painting on the back of my hand, painting all of these things. And it came to me like this would be a very useful desk thing, because if I put acetate over it, I can use this as an impromptu paint palette. And this little sink, I can also put water in to wash my brushes and things like that. So it's waterproof and usable, and it's super cute. So this one has a magnetic closure, and I didn't make it open all the way. I just wanted the top to just be able to flip up so you can go in there and get something and put it back down. So I put some paper clips in this one. I put some mint in this one in case you just want to grab a quick something to chew on. And I put some flowers, some tiny little foam flowers in this one. And you can kind of see how the box is constructed. Put two magnets there to keep it closed. That way nothing falls out. And yeah, this one's my favorite though. And I just love, whenever I'm doing these things, I'm just like, what can I do that's, interesting and fun to me? And, God gave me a sense of creativity. Now, it doesn't come out perfect, but for me, the fun is in trying to see if it'll come out at all. So I thought this was pretty cool, and I'm going to use it. Um, some of the flaws on this one is, like I said, using the cardboard. And these drawers I made out of like the food packaging that I showed you before, and even with measuring, I have no idea why they still came out different sizes. So I had to use a cardboard shim on the back of this because it was too short this way and also too short this way. As you can see, it's a little bit shorter than the drawers because there's a gap there. I don't know how that drawer came out shorter than the others. I must have miscut somewhere, somehow, because I measured everything the same. Then these boxes, of course, food packaging comes with like that printed glossy artwork on it. So I put a couple of layers of gesso on these boxes, and shout out to handmade Miss Doll's Handmade Creations, because she said she only painted the parts of the box that you could see, and that saved me a lot of time because I was like, oh yeah, I never thought about just painting what you can see. So all I did was paint this side, and the fronts, and the other on the insides and the backs were unpainted, and that helped speed things up a bit. So thanks, Miss Doll Lasagna, for that great uh, suggestion. So yeah, that's the drawback to using cardboard and paper sometimes. I don't know. I don't know that how that got off, but it doesn't take too much away from it. And then, one thing I don't like about the cardboard is you can always see the striations from the little cells on the inside, and then you always have those little holes and stuff on the side, which isn't too bad. What I was saying is I put a couple of coats of gesso to kind of take care of the glossiness, but even when I was painting over the gesso started like moving. So I don't know if I didn't let it dry enough or what. Or next time I think I'm going to scuff the paper up a bit so the gesso can adhere a little bit better. And so see some of the, when I was cutting off some of the excess cardboard, some of the paint came off too. And you can see those rivers of the gesso when I was like moving the paintbrush, it moved. So, but I'm still okay with that. The same thing happened on this side with the metallic paints. I got a nice good coat on, and then I guess I went back over this section once too many, right there, and they didn't like it because then the gesso started moving, and I was like, whoa, and then you could see the paint, the printed page under there, so I had to wait for it to dry and put that extra coat on. And again, I don't mind, because actually it looks like, if you live in the house, your stuff gets dinged up and it gets dented and bent and some of the paint scrubs off and all that kind of stuff. So that looks fine. And I wish you could get like the flat cells. You see how this is? I wish you could get that on all sides of the cardboard, because one side always looks kind of weird with the like ridgy part. But anyway, this is super cute. So, large, medium, and small embellishment boxes for this month's Issa Link Volume 7. And I will put Tamika's description below. This month's contest ends on August 5th. So if you want to try to get something done and in, go ahead. I encourage you, even if it's just to practice like what I do 99.99% of the time. It's a great experience, and you might come up with something cool and interesting to share. Thanks, guys. Bye. I'm working on my embellishment box for It's a Link Party Volume 7, and just wanted to do a quick behind the scenes, of course, which is what I try to do with every video, of the rocks that you are going to see in the finished product. So I am I painted these 3 stones to have like sea scenes, because I thought maybe doing an ocean type, under the sea type of things. These are, I think I'm gonna call mine a sea jewel or sea gems type of box. Now, Tamika said to use non-handmade embellishments in the box, but for what I was using, I didn't have anything that was not, that would fit, that was bought or whatever. So I did make these. I didn't have the rocks either, so I made the stones too. All of the images are from Google Images, of course, but I hand painted them myself. So this one is a sea turtle. I'm not sure how the lighting is or how good that's going to translate. So that was an image, and all of the images I used as reference or inspiration I will put down in the description as usual. So on the back it has, the date it was made. It's a Link Party Volume 7, and this is the Turtle Rock. This was done on the 21st. And this says 1 of 2 rocks. So, and then I just lined it with some gold paper just to give it a little bit of a shine. This is the second rock, and this is the info. Actually, this was the first rock I made, but it's number 2 of 3 because I wanted it to go in the middle. And this one was made on the 20th, so I made this one first. And this is the koi fish rock. So actually, that's how it goes. And it does have some gold metallic on it, but I don't know if you can see that. And again, some gold paper around the edge just to give it a little bit of a sort of expensive rock look, or an art, sort of an artisan rock look. This is the third rock that I did, 3 of 3. It's a Link Party Volume 7. I did this on the 22nd, and today's the 24th. So I did these a couple days ago, but again, like I said, sometimes I just procrastinate and go slow. I'm working on the box, plus it took me a while to kind of figure out what I wanted to do for this embellishment box, and so I looked at a ton of images and came across these three were my final choices before I decided to go ahead and get in, and this is the seahorse rock. And then again with a little gold edge around it. So I thought I might show you real quick how I made these rocks, and for anybody who's interested. I'm not sure where I'm going to splice this in the video, but this is the first video I'm making for this Issa link. So wherever it goes, I'm not sure. But if you are not interested in learning how to make this, then just skip this part. But for those people who might be interested, so I used a piece of aluminum foil and I bunched it up and I made it into a very tight sort of rock shape. It's not very thick. It's probably about 5 millimeters thick or so, 5 or 6 at the thickest point. But like a rock, I mean, rock doesn't come necessarily in one shape, so scrunched it up, and you can hardly scrunch it up anymore, but I made sure to keep it in the shape of as rock-like shape as I wanted it. You can make a square rock, a round rock, oval rock, whatever rock you choose, and I decided to go with kind of an oval shape. Then you'll take your polymer clay. I just use this Scopy oven baked clay. This is the really basic kind. It's very soft and pliable, and I rolled it in my pasta machine a few times, and it's about a couple of millimeters thick. And you would take this and put it over the rock and shape it all the way around. And I did 2 layers, so molded one time, and then I rolled another piece of clay and then went over it again to give it a little bit more bulkiness. Then I baked it in the oven at 275 for about 10 to 15 minutes. I just made sure to watch it because you don't want the clay to burn, and oven times vary, so I just make sure for the base amount, I put it in 10 minutes. And then if it's not like looking brown or anything, I put it in for another 5 minutes. And then to paint the rock base, I just used these 3 colors: gray, warm buff, and parchment. And I did a base coat of gray, then I stippled it with the warm buff, and then stippled it even a little bit less with the parchment. And as you can kind of see on the back of the rocks, it gives you a little bit of that mottled rock effect. So, and then for the painting of the different scenes, of course, I just use whatever paints I want. So you just look online for whatever images you want to paint, and you can make yourself some rock art without having any rocks. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, thank you, and I'll be back with other parts along the way for this month's Link Party project.